Good afternoon, everyone. How is everybody today? This is awesome to be with you here at the Gene Ray Center for Murray State Basketball. And it just occurred to me this morning that this building opened in 2013 as the hub of the Murray State men's and women's basketball teams. And I remember when we christened this building in 2013, the Racers were up against South Dakota State in front of about 8,000 people just next door in the CFSB Center. And this is the first time we've had an event, something of this nature, that we could host here in the Ray Center. So it's really good to be with you all. My name is Dave Winder. I'm the Associate AD for Communications here at Murray State Athletics. And it's great to have family and friends and all of Racer Nation watching live on ESPN Plus and also on Facebook. So the reason we're here today is to welcome Steve Prohm back as our head men's basketball coach. This has to be probably one of the most unique introductions of a head coach that I've ever had, and certainly for those here on stage too that know Steve, and all of you who know him very, very well, and Katie and the kids and the whole family. This is really a neat day for Racer basketball, there's no question. I'm very excited to have Steve back. But let me tell you just a little bit before we bring up Dr. Bob Jackson. There will be no one who's ever led our program that will care more than Steve Prohm does. And that's what I've always, if anybody asks me about Steve, I've told them that he cares about his players, loves his players. He's here for his team. And that's the way he's going to be in his second time around with us as we go into the bold new future of the Missouri Valley Conference. And Steve's not coming back because of what he did here before. He's coming back because of the challenge that lays ahead of us in a new conference and the next stage of his career. So I'm very happy to stand in front of all of you today to welcome head coach Steve Prohm. So with that, let's bring up Murray State University President, Dr. Bob Jackson.
Dave, thank you. And I want to thank all of you, and thank you for being here. As someone told me a few minutes ago, it's another great day to be a racer. So we agree. And you're going to hear from Steve in just a moment, and Mr. Saul and others. And first, I just wanted to simply say, and I'm going to recognize a few people in just a moment that are here for this historic announcement. But we had a historic year in basketball, men's basketball. And many of you have been in Evansville, many of you have been in Indianapolis, and it's great to be back home. And I mean, what a season we've had, and we look forward to many more of those, Coach Prohm. We've got several, I'm kidding, of course. We'll give you a year. But Steve and I have been kidding a lot over the last few days, and it's been a busy time and a busy week, and Mr. Saul hasn't slept much, and I'll introduce him in just a moment as well, but there's a few folks that I want to recognize that are here who've been helpful to this process, but always helpful to Murray State University. Former chair of our Board of Regents, Jerry Rhodes, is here. It's always good to see former chair of our board and who loves Racer athletics and is supportive in every way possible. A current member, our faculty regent, Dr. Melanie Schimberger, is here. Dr. Schimberger, thank you for all that you do for Murray State University. She's extremely supportive of Racer athletics and the transitions that we're making both in coaches and in conferences. And Dr. Schimberger, just want to thank you and point you out for all that you do. My wife Karen is here as well, and she is sitting next to Commissioner Jeff Jackson of the Missouri Valley Conference. And we appreciate, Commissioner, all that you do and the support you've given Murray State University, Kevin, myself, and this institution as a whole over many weeks, many months now. And I'd like for everyone here to give a Racer welcome to Commissioner Jackson. And Karen has known Commissioner Jackson for some time, so he's welcome here at any time for any occasion, especially today. But this is a special and exciting day. It's our centennial, so we're 100 years old. And we've been playing basketball for nearly that entire time. And we played it at the highest level. And we'll continue for the next 100 years playing it at the highest level. But that wouldn't be possible without all of you, our fans, our supporters, season ticket holders, alumni, friends, faculty, staff, students, sponsors. That list goes on and on. You all make Racer basketball, Racer Nation, Murray State University what it is today, and you have for a long, long time. And we appreciate each of you and all that you do each and every day. Also, Mayor Rogers is here. I want to point him out, a great supporter with his wife, Gail, of Racer Athletics. We appreciate them extremely for what they do each and every day for this institution as well. I want to say just a couple things about Coach Steve Prohm. I first met him when he was an assistant coach who came here a long time ago, it seems like. He's one of the finest coaches in this country. He was one of the finest coaches ever at Murray State University, and you'll hear some stats in a moment to point that out. But probably most importantly, on top of all that, he's a better person. And we appreciate, Coach, you being here. We're glad that you're here. Katie, it's good to see you. Welcome home to you, your family. Coach Prohm, you're home again, and we plan to keep you for a long time. But as I've said over the last several days, Kevin and I have talked probably 15 to 20 times a day over the last week. It was a pretty extensive and hard week last week as we went through this process. But there's things that Steve Prohm brings that no one else could bring to this place. And passion, and hard work, and great integrity. And again, I want to welcome them home. I want to thank Mr. Saul for his work over the past several days. He hasn't slept much. His staff hasn't slept much. Again, they were in Evansville. They were in Indianapolis. We were all over Indiana, it seems, and all over the country for other matters as well. And Kevin, thank you. Thank you for all that you do. And all of the staff and athletics, thank you for all that you have done for the last many weeks as well. With that, I will stop. I want to introduce Mr. Kevin Saul, who's going to tell you a great deal about Coach Prohm and make a formal introduction. It's great to see everyone. Thank you for being here. Mr. Saul, let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you so much. It's great to see everybody today on a special day. Good to see some of our guys here as well. Hopefully that break between classes. All right, so good to see you. It's good afternoon. It's an honor to be with you all today. Thank you for being a part of this special day, not only for Murray State Athletics, but for our men's basketball program and our community. It's just great to see all of you. So it takes a really cohesive group to navigate an efficient and effective search process in the time period that we did. Before we get started, I do want to thank a few folks that have been a part of that process. President Jackson and his wife Karen, just appreciate so much the latitude to do what we're able to do. Day in and day out, incredibly supportive of not only the university but this athletics program. So if you would, please give a round of applause to our president and Karen. Unable to be with us today, but our Board of Regents Chair and Athletics Committee Chair Eric Krigler, who I'm sure is watching. Just appreciate his leadership and his interest in athletics. Are incredibly supportive Murray State University Board of Regents, some of which are here today. Thank you so much for being here. Jackie Dudley, our Vice President for Finance and Administration. Courtney Hickson, Director of Human Resources. Beth Ward, Director of Procurement. Rob Miller, our University General Counsel. Scott Barnhart is in the room here somewhere as our Senior Associate AD for Internal Operations. Walked with me throughout the process, and I certainly appreciate his contributions. And then Daniel Parker, Vice President, Managing Director of Parker Executive Search Firm. So just appreciate all those folks and what they contributed to supporting this process that moved very efficiently. Murray State men's basketball boasts an incredible winning tradition. 28 regular season conference championships, 18 conference tournament championships, and NCAA tournament appearances. We've got 5 NCAA tournament victories. This program has won 55% of the conference championships that have been available to it since 1980. It's an unbelievable tradition, okay? 4 of its last 5 NCAA tournament wins in the last 5 appearances. So certainly success on the national stage, okay? You all have built a dominant national brand. ESPN and CBS Sports regularly recognize Murray State basketball as one of the top programs in the country. You all have ushered in an all-time record in the CFSB Center of 302-49, winning 86% of our home games in the CFSB Center. And that is attributable to this community and so many people pulling the rope in the same direction. Murray State men's basketball boasts a coaching fraternity like no other. In recent history, spanning the last 6 head coaches, Murray State men's basketball has won over 70% of its games, more than 75% of its league contests, 24 league championships, participated in 11 NCAA tournaments, and achieved 5 NCAA tournament wins. This fraternity has championed remarkable modern era for Murray State men's basketball. They've all contributed to the opportunity we have before us today to compete in the prestigious and highly competitive Missouri Valley Conference, and I'm very appreciative Commissioner Jackson's with us today. It's not lost on me you spent 6 hours on the road today, so thank you so much for being here with us. As we prepared to launch an intensive and comprehensive search process, we envisioned an ideal profile for our next Murray State men's basketball coach, okay? Stepping into this competitive environment, it became abundantly clear our next head coach would require a proven commitment to character, integrity, student-athlete development, needed to be very successful in that area, commitment to community, family, and competitive excellence. It goes without saying, the national interest in Murray State men's basketball is both remarkable and unique. Over the last 100 years, Murray State and this special community have built something very special, and it is a coveted coaching opportunity. I will share that with you. It was important for us to identify not only a proven and accomplished coach, but one that could embrace the incredibly high standards here at Murray State. Additionally, it was important to identify a head coach who would embrace the special and unique culture that makes Murray State men's basketball one of the best jobs in the country. Finally, it was critical for us to identify an individual with a unique skill set who could equip and launch this program into the Missouri Valley Conference. Steve Prohm represents, reflects, personifies these and many other qualities, as you all know. His skill set, his experience, and genuine love for Murray State will effectively guide our program as we begin this new journey. Among many accomplishments, I want to brag on Coach here a little bit. He's recruited at the highest level, in the Midwest, the South, the Southeastern states during his tenure in the Big 12 and the Ohio Valley Conferences. He's mentored 8 NBA players during his time at Murray State and Iowa State. Over a decade of experience as head coach, Coach has won 62% of his games, 78% as coach at Murray State. 7 of his 10 seasons as head coach include 20 or more wins. He's won 5 conference regular season and tournament championships. He's coached 4 NCAA tournament wins, an NIT quarterfinal, and a CIT championship. He's twice been named League Coach of the Year, and in 2012 received the Joe B. Hall Award presented annually to the top first-year coach in Division I basketball. On behalf of the university and the athletics department, I could not be more pleased to partner with Steve, his wife Katie, and their family. Enjoyed so much the time that you allowed me to take at your home the other night, and look forward to the journey that lies ahead. Look forward to continued growth and development of Murray State men's basketball under your leadership and the development of our student athletes. I'm honored to introduce to you and welcome back home the next head coach of Murray State men's basketball, Steve Prohm.
Thank you, guys. Got some good jerseys there, Cass, right there now, don't we? So, right there. We got 2 of them. Yeah, you're going to get it. I've got a lot more, I got a lot bigger family than I do when I first got the job the first time. I was single, engaged, I guess, maybe, or no, just single or dating. Now I'm back with 4 kids and an unbelievable wife. So, first off, thank you. Obviously, it's great to be back in this gym, and it's great to be your new coach. Obviously, like Kevin touched on, it's a different job, it's a different challenge, going to the Missouri Valley Conference, but also the opportunity to come back home and bring my family back home for a place that I've got a lot of relationships, and a lot of great memories and a lot of good people. So I couldn't be more ecstatic. I appreciate all you guys being here. I mean, I know probably 90%, 95% of the people in the room, one way or the other, and I can't thank you guys enough for being here today. To Bob Jackson, Kevin Saul, Eric Kriegler, and the board, and everyone in this community that played a part in bringing us back here, thank you so much. I appreciate the trust. To my family, this is where it's hard, this part. That other stuff's easy. In my journey, you go through good moments, tough moments. They go through it all with you. And Dave said it before, like, this is kind of who I am. Like, the other stuff's easy, but they're my passion. So I want to recognize them real quick. My wife, Katie, my son, Cass, who was born here the week after, and of all people to be here, Chief Lyles, you can escort him out, but of all people to show up here, Taylor Barnett. If you guys remember, he's the one who hit the shot for Belmont. He wants to get on staff, so he's doing what he's supposed to do. He shows up at the press conference. But can you get him, can you take him out of here, Chief Lyles? It's a good thing we went to Evansville. The clock malfunctioned too many times down in Nashville. So, but it is what it is now. But your family, you go through great moments and tough moments. Obviously, I got my oldest, Cass, my main man, my best buddy. He was at camp this summer, and the players here did a phenomenal job with him. My princess, Francie, 4-year-old. Jackson. My wife may kill me for telling this, but we knew Kevin was coming over to the house. We sent him with her cousin because Jackson's just too wild. And he may have cost us the job. And then my newborn, our newborn Drew, who we had in January. Obviously, we got other family members, my wife's aunts, Nancy and Rose, her Uncle Bill, and we've got so many other family members as well. One guy I do want to point out, I was leaving, I hadn't been down here yet since I became the coach. I was headed down here yesterday. I was going to meet with some of the players, and a car pulls up on my driveway, and I'm trying to figure out who it is, and out pops this guy. His name's Dave Turnbull, and he was really an accountability partner, a mentor for me. He leads the FCA up there in Ames and in central Iowa, and I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. I've been fortunate. I've been in 2 unbelievable programs. I couldn't be in better programs. 2 places that cared, they love, they expect championships. Obviously for 4 years at Murray State, 6 at Iowa State. And I just want to thank all the former players and coaches, who have assisted me along the way and blessed me with many championships and great, great memories. Thank you so much. Like we touched on, this is home for me. It's home for my family. I've been a part of this program, this community, really since about 2005, 2006, and it's great to be back. It's really great to be back. You know, my year off, everybody asks kind of, what do you learn in your year off? Well, the biggest thing, you know, really from August to November, I got a chance to travel around and watch different people practice, see different styles of play, and really refresh. But the biggest thing I learned is how hard and demanding it is to be a mother and raise 4 children. And I was like, so I had to get a job. And this job's a lot easier than that. And my wife was ready for me to get the job too. And so, but I also learned and, you know, revisited, you know, during this year, really what's important to me. You know, what's truly important in coaching and why do I coach? Because sometimes you can lose your way a little bit. It's the players, you know, not maybe it's the players. The relationships with the players, developing those guys, you know, getting text messages that you save and keep to go back and read when things get tough because they give you the belief. The communities that you get invested in, you know, and like I said, Ames and Murray, I've been in 2 unbelievable communities. The relationships, and then the opportunity to really, really be impactful, to have a platform to impact people, impact communities, and impact young men. Somebody sent me a book, Success to Significance, to treat this year off like halftime. And I've been very, very fortunate. I've had a ton of success from pros to elite point guards to Big 12 titles, OVC titles, long winning streaks, postseason bursts. But that's all behind. You refresh, it's halftime, and now the other part of the quote is to significance. You know, how can you be significant in your leadership role? How can you be impactful? How can you invest? And how can you really, really make a difference in these young men's lives? You know, and that's my real focus, whether it's academically, athletically, socially, spiritually. That's my focus going forward as I take the realms here for a second time. The last 7 years that I've been away, you get back, nothing much has changed. Matt B's Peach is great. Larry Suter, I was talking to him the other day. Yeah, just like Bob said, we'll give you 1 year, second year, you need to win the league. You know, people come by practices, you know, nothing's changed. This program embodies success. It embodies excellence on and off the floor. And this last decade has been almost surreal because it's been at an absolute elite level. And the standard, and coming back here, the standard hasn't changed. It expects to compete and win championships as we venture on into the Missouri Valley Conference. I want to take a second to just say congratulations to Matt, a former assistant of mine that I think for the last 7 years has done a phenomenal job leading this program, an amazing job. And we watched all the games we could watch, obviously because of the connection to Murray State, but when it's your former assistant leading the charge, you're invested in that. And I couldn't be more proud of him, and he's extremely, extremely deserving, and he'll do a phenomenal job in Baton Rouge. But he put an exclamation point, you know, on leaving the OVC as we venture on, where 31-3 and the things that they've done and what they've accomplished, those coaches and players deserve an unbelievable amount of credit. So to Matt and his staff, I thank you, and I wish you guys all the best. Style of play. You know, your press conference, you got to touch on style of play. I think you guys are probably familiar with how I want to play from an offensive standpoint. I want to play with great pace. I want to give my guys great freedom. We want great ball movement. We want great spacing. I think every Murray State team, when you talk to them, you know, you're going to play with a toughness, you're going to play with an edge, you're going to play with a chip on your shoulder because you got something to prove when you're here. You got something to prove as a coach, administrator, fan, player. You have something to prove. It's just kind of in the DNA here. Defensively, you know, great activity, aggressive, try to extend and pressure a little bit more, kind of back to like we did when we were here under Coach Kennedy, and obviously like Coach McMahon's teams did as well. But I think one thing, and Coach McMahon's teams were very good at, they were very, very balanced. And I think we want to be balanced as well on both ends of the floor, both offensively and defensively. You know, what is your why? You know, everybody asks your why, your purpose, your passion, and I touched on this. My players, my family, and my faith. You know, that's my biggest why. It's our job as leaders to impact people, all right, and there's no better place than to do that as the head basketball coach here at Murray State. Coaches, staff, players, I want to I want to call out Marcus Brown real quick. Stand up, Marcus. Obviously, I wanted to, I'm in the process of building my staff, but Marcus will be a part of that staff, and we haven't sat down a whole bunch yet. We've been on the fly just calling and touching, but Marcus will be here. And, you know, I knew Larry was going to stand up. So, but obviously I've known Marcus really since we started the reunion, the Hoopalooza years back, got him back on campus, and obviously know what he means to this program, to this university, and a lot of people in this community. I wish it was in the 90s where we get him to play too, but he's just going to have to coach. You know, Jack's here as well, okay, and I'm going to visit with him a little bit and see what his plans are. But the other coaches here that were on staff here last year, stand up, and any players that are here, just stand up so everybody can say hello to you guys real quick. I think the biggest thing as I develop a staff and develop a team and develop a roster is 3 C's. I heard this year when I was doing a lot of studying. I want guys that want to be coachable, a staff that wants to be coachable. Number 2, players that want to be challenged, staff that wants to be challenged to grow. And then 3rd, connectors of people. Players that want to be connected, staff that want to be connected, and connected here in the community. This city and this university has provided me so many blessings, and I look forward to adding to those blessings. You know, we've got a great group of recruits coming in I'm excited about sitting down with these current players and see where they're at, because when you go through transition, and I've been through it, I've been head coach 2 different places, now a 3rd opportunity. Transition's tough, and so I need to sit down with these guys and really let them know, you know, I'm here for them one way or the other, that I'm here to help them. I thank you for your belief, for your passion, and I'm excited to get going. I've been to a lot of schools, like I touched on. There's not many places that you go and they're going to watch practice. There are not many places you go and they call you after Saturday morning pickup and say you're going to go 25-6, okay? And usually they're kind of 2 or 3 wins, right there. You give them a 2 or 3 winner, they're pretty close. I look forward, my family looks forward to reconnecting with all the relationships that we have here. You know, and the one thing, as many special relationships that are still here to reconnect with. You know, I just wrote down a couple, and I may leave a couple people out, and I apologize, but there's a lot of relationships here that, you know, we won't see, but that we know they're here. And guys like Gerald and Benny and Sid and Howie and Dr. Hal and Pete. And many others. You know, the one thing you learn as a coach, like, you don't check Twitter. Like, you can check it after you win the Big 12 championship or you go to the second round of the NCAA tournament, but you know when you shouldn't check it. And I hadn't flipped it on much because right now most of it should be good, but there'll be 20% will be a little bad. But I just saw one tweet from Maddie Waldrop, and this kind of defines Murray. You know, Pete's on the beach. It's like, hey, this is the call that Steve's going to Iowa State, and then he's in a dark bar drinking scotch, and he's got it toasted up, and this is him, you know, toasting that I've got the opportunity to come back here. And to me, that defines Murray. That's why I'm back, and I'm excited to be here. Go Racers.
And I knew Steve would win today. I told you he's going to win the press conference, right? So that's awesome, man. What a great day for Murray State. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for those watching on social media and also ESPN Plus. I know a lot of you want to say hi to Coach and Katie and shake their hands and hug them. We are going to have a press conference for our local media that's here, and I will meet you right over here at the door in just a few minutes, and I'll take you to the Murray room where we're going to have our press conference. Again, thank you for everybody for being here, and go Racers.